Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Module 5, and this is part 2 of our texturing series. And this is what I came up with, and I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, you're going to have something different, and that's what I want. I want you to have something a little different. Obviously, I just found the materials I liked. I experimented. It was probably about an hour. I just kind of played with it. I like that kind of older, the guard, and then I had something that I chose. I think I liked this one a lot better. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, I did like a hammered copper on top, and then I did a blade steel with if you look close enough, you have like scratches and stuff in it, which reflects the light really nicely. It looks like a blade, looks realistic. So that's the whole idea, and let's get as realistic as you can. And of course we need to export, so let's go ahead and go to, once you get everything done, you always want to save your scene, so save as, and make sure you put it in your folder where your Maya stuff is. Okay, and we'll just save this. File name, let's just do Dagger texture TX01. That'll save your texture so you don't lose it. You can kind of play around with it. It may take a while for it to save, so don't mess around with it too much. And then we're going to export your file. So export texture. So file, export textures. And we've done this before. We have everything selected, so that's good. We want that. Where do we want to put this? That's really important, so click on that. And if you don't tell it where to go, it'll put it where it wants to put it, and that's not necessarily what you want. So I'm going to go in here to Maya and projects and go back into here, and this is going to give me in my source images. I'll click select folder. So now I got my folder selected. Output template, PBR metal roughness. Let's take a look at what other things we can click on. Arnold AI Standard, Arnold Udemy Legacy AI Standard. Okay. We've got the PBR metal roughness. Let's go ahead and do this is what we did last time. Udemy Legacy. Okay. PNG. Everything else looks good now. This really is up to you what you want to do. I'm going to do no padding pass-through. Doesn't matter. You pick the one you want. And then we're going to go to Output Templates. And this is going to be Udemy Legacy. Okay, Udemy Legacy. It tells us what it's going to shoot out, right? It's a lot of maps. Look at that. And so that's what we want. That looks great, and that's it. And then export, and then just have to wait for it to go through the process. It looks like export finished. That was pretty quick. So output templates, we're good to go. Okay, sounds good. And do you want to save your settings? Nah. And then let's go ahead and close that. You already saved your objects, so next thing we're going to do is bring in the battle axe. So new, and keep that on there. PBR metallic roughness, go ahead and select. And now we're looking at the low poly battle axe. Let's go ahead and open that up. And we want 4096. And everything else is fine. We're good to go. Discard that one. And there is our battle axe. There we go. Cool. Awesome. We got our rivets in there. Look at that. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's the battle axe. Let's go ahead and bake the maps right away and see what that looks like. Again, it's just going to soften all those hard edges that you see right here. Soften things up a little bit. So keep that in mind. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it subconsciously you see those little things. So that's why it's so important. You can see we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you cannot change those names, and if those change on you, make sure that you change them back, because Maya will not see your textures if you don't. So let's go into baking your maps, and let's go on here, texture, set settings. Nothing's really changed. Everything looks good, so we're going to go right into baking mesh. Click off ID. We're doing exactly the same thing that we did before. Okay, and we want a high poly, yes, and there it is. Okay, and everything else is generic, so I haven't changed anything. Okay, looks good. Bake selected textures, and you can see it go through the process. And I'm going to pause it for now. Wow, that looks great. Everything turned out perfect. And go ahead and click OK. And wow, that looks fantastic. And that is amazing. It's incredible, actually. You can see the rivets on there. Look at that. The rivets are beautiful. And look at the nice edge that we have on the blade all the way up and then down. That looks great. Everything looks really good. Really happy with the straps. Even the buttons on the straps look nice. Everything looks great. Very happy with that. Couldn't be happier. Everything turned out nice. Okay. So what we want to do now is texture it. So I want you guys to have fun. You guys know how to do it now. Again, remember, more of a patina. That's why we separated the blade. You can go in the material and see what it looks like here too as well if you want to. Can I get that moved over? Here we go. For some reason I keep rotating. I wish it wouldn't rotate. Alright. Okay. Don't want that. Don't need that anymore. This is what we need right here. So where is the blade? There's the stick. Okay. So you guys now have the reins to go in there and start. Now remember, when you click on this, this is the layer you're working in, right? So double click, click on that off and on so you know which one is which. Okay. So we want a wood texture. Now you can go again into Substance Share and find all kinds of wood textures. They even have old wood textures, so feel free to do that. And you know how to import them in. So under, if I move that up a little bit, you can see under right here under Materials tab, you can click on that, and I've got some other add resources and substance, and you can see I've got some wood in here. I think I got some wood. Kind of hard to see sometimes. There we go, wood. Got quite a bit here. Wood. And you got to kind of remember what it looked like. American chestnut. Maybe that looks pretty good. So you import some woods. Base metal. Base material, and then go into shelf and click import. See what that looks like. American. So drag and drop that in there. And you can see what it looks like. And of course, that doesn't look the way I want it to look, so you just keep moving on until you find out what you want. It's going the wrong way, and that's another thing with wood. You have to be super careful with rotation. Make sure it's rotated the right way. Otherwise, it looks very strange. There we go. And scale. That wouldn't look too bad. It's not too terrible bad. It's not great, but it's not too terrible bad either. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. That's not terrible. You could probably put a dirt map over top of it so it's not so clean. That's the only problem you have with that. Anyway, I don't know why I'm showing you this, because you got to do your own. So anyway, play around and do your thing, and we'll come back and see what you came up with. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back and I got my texturing finished. Make sure you save your texture, so save as. And I've been saving mine as Battle Axe, and I'm putting it in my folder so I can easily get a hold of it. That way I can come back. Always save your textures and the Substance Painter file. And then we're going to go ahead and go to Export Textures. And we've got all 5 all set up. We need to tell it where we want it to go, so that's the first thing we'll do. Don't forget that, otherwise it'll put it somewhere you don't really know where it is until you go back in here and try to figure it out. And here we go. And we're going to go into Source Images. That's the folder we want. And output, again, I'm going to go find Arnold, Udemy Legacy, and then dilation. I'm going to do pass through. It really doesn't matter. Pass through will work, and that's good. Outer templates, this is important. And list of exports, and that tells us exactly what it's exporting, which looks good. And I think we're good to go. Alright, so go ahead and export. And this will take a while, so I'm going to pause. Okay, we're all done. So we're completely finished, and we're going to close that. There we go. And we're all done. Now, what you do is you go back in and apply the materials in Maya. If you don't remember how to do that, watch the video food can again. That takes you through the whole process of adding textures. This time we're not going to actually go into Photoshop, so it's not a big deal. But we got everything finished and it's looking pretty good. I think the wood turned out really nice, and the leather straps turned out really nice. And I've even got this patinaed, painted, roughed up, messed up outer, and then we've got that beautiful shiny blade that's been, still battered. I still got some roughness to it. Okay, it's been worn, it's old, and it's got some damage to it, which is good. This is what we want. Alright, cool. So got those saved out, bring it into Maya, get that texture on there, and get that lighting going. And I want you to find an HDR image and get it set up. Maybe put this against the wall. That'd be kind of cool. An old wall would be neat. Anyway, it's up to you how you want to do all that stuff. And I want you to present it in a realistic way. And I guess I'll see you in the next video.